Nick.
Hi, how
How
are
are you?
you?
Good to see you. Back at the Tiki
See
Hut.
you. Back at the bar. What a week already. Have you
What have you
been?
been? Yeah, good. What have you been doing?
Oh, laundry, working. Woke up early today
Mhm.
and saw the sunrise through my window with a cup of coffee. It
Oh,
was so quiet in the house with everyone asleep. It was nice. I must do
that's
it
good.
more often.
Yeah.
What
Well,
have
we're
you been
going
up
into
to?
summer, so we have
Mm-hmm.
sunlight. Actually, specifically at like 6:15 a.m., I noticed it was quite light out for the
Yeah.
first time. So I'm very excited about that. Now, I've been walking, getting shoulder burns, going to the beach. It's been
Love it.
lovely. And working. I do work. I, for those who are wondering, I do
What
actually
do
work,
you
but
say?
lots of walking. I'm averaging 20,000 steps this week, which is great, a day.
Oh, that's awesome. You know, it's September month.
Ah, I had no idea.
Yeah,
I should sign
yeah.
up, track my steps.
You should. And you've inspired me to do more walking. I
Yeah.
did
Oh, good.
I did 10,000 steps yesterday, but it was a bit bad Monday. Just gonna stop the story here.
Okay, great. In other news, you went away last weekend and that inspired this particular topic. You want to enlighten us?
Yes. Yes. Well, the kids were getting along for about 5 minutes. And I thought, sent you a photo of them getting along and wrote to you, look at the girls not killing each other. Wonder how long that'll last. And I thought that inspired us to talk about conflict in the workplace. Since I
Mm,
can't handle conflict at home, clearly, let's maybe distract me by talking about workplace conflict and how
mm.
one should handle it. Maybe we have a few tips for people, maybe we don't.
Yeah. Okay, so to clarify, is this like we disagree on something conflict, or is this like I just don't like you? It's okay. I mean, we wouldn't say that to someone, but like our vibes are not gelling.
Yeah, I mean, let's go deep and meaningful because hopefully if it's a disagreement, everyone has some tools to
True.
deal with that. So let's
Mhm.
maybe bring the heavy to the levity, as you say, and
Levity to
talk
that.
about I just don't like you. You're not my vibe. We're
Mm,
different people. We have different interests. I don't like the
yeah.
way you work. You don't like the way I work. How do we coexist?
Oof. Okay, let's do it. I'll caveat this by saying it's one of the reasons that I either thrive or fail as an executive because I can't hide this. Like if I'm
Mm.
feeling a certain type of way about someone and I'm just not gelling with their style or they're too political, I just can't. I know I could be better. It's just patience is little. But I have some fun ones that come to mind. Let's see. Story time. Should I start with a story?
Yeah, do it.
Okay.
I
All
love
right.
your stories.
I used to work with a creative. It's wonderful as a human. But I had a really difficult time starting to work with him because he was constantly breaking the rules. And I get this with go-to-market sales folks as well. Like that push, push, push for more and always ask. It's just so against my own personal belief system and style that it really rubs me the wrong way, even if it's well intentioned. And he would constantly do stuff that I'm like, you don't understand the risk you're putting people in. For example, flying someone from another country who's not even an employee, they're a contractor, to have them come work in our office
Oh
physically
boy.
and lie at the border to get across. And I'm like, I get a phone call from someone going, "Did you know this person's here? I thought they were interviewing, but apparently we've hired them. So we don't have a contract. They're not on a visa." I'm like, "Oh my gosh, what is happening?" So I call this person and I'm like, "Hey, like I heard this is going on in the office. I'm not even there right now. What is happening?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, I thought it'd be cool if he came and like jammed on this project with us." Like just so innocent about it. Anyways, that's just an example of one of many headaches that I dealt with. But what I found was a couple things. One, he was a completely different style of leader. Like he didn't think about consequence, which made him a really great creative because it's risk taking, it's rule breaking. And as much as it frustrated me, the only strategy I could put into place was get to know him personally and find some redeeming factors because he was also an HR headache. Like not only would he take all these risks, but also like every week I'd have someone crying in my office going like, he said this to me because he had no filter.
Mm.
And so, a couple things. I started by one trying to find redeeming qualities. Like we had a Halloween thing, shindig at work for kids. And I saw him with his kids, and I was like, wow, he's a really good dad. And like, that's for me something that I can relate to and appreciate and have respect for. So I found respect for him in other ways outside of his role, which I think helped.
Yeah.
And then we built a personal rapport around some other more personal topics, which I won't get into, but it was helpful because then on the days where he like really got himself into muddy territory, we'd go for walks and he'd be like,
Mhm.
I feel like I'm writing my name on the chalkboard. I'm like, well, you kind of are. Like, I don't want to have, I like walks with you, but not on this topic.
Mhm.
And so he appreciated it. And he actually started to listen to some of the advice I gave him, which helped both of our jobs become easier and ways of working together became a little bit less frictionful. I don't know if that's a
Mhm.
word. I'm gonna
Yeah.
coin that frictionful. We had a lot of friction, but we were able to smooth it out by at least getting to a place where we had enough mutual respect for each other as humans that we could address those things as they came up.
Love that. It
Mm.
made me think of a podcast I was listening to on the weekend while folding laundry. You guessed it. And it was Adam Grant being interviewed by Trevor Noah.
Hmm.
And they, I think, was it Trevor or Adam? Who knows? They were talking about the importance of having common, like thinking about the other individual you have conflict with as another human and
Yeah.
not making the thing that you disagree about the thing that brings you together. So, and that's what
Mm.
story reminded me of, not making that, that mistake or that the fact that this individual is a HR nightmare be the thing that brought you together. You went out looking for other data around him as a human being to be able to connect on a different level. Well done.
Yeah. Love it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Love that.
What about you?
Uh,
What are your strategies?
couple of things. I too try and connect with people on a humanistic, what's going on for them level. But for me, the big thing is around my self-awareness. How how I'm showing up making you show up in a not such a good light right now?
Mm.
So that's number one for me. I'm always in check with what's happening for me internally.
Yeah.
Am I am I judging someone too soon? Or because someone has a different set of strengths to me, am I thinking that that's it? I can't work with you. You're a different style. We're on different planets.
Mhm.
I'm a storyteller and you're not, like whatever it is from a strengths-based point of view, try and work out the common ground from a common mission or a common goal rather than looking for similarities.
Yeah.
And the second thing for me is defining internally, defining my boundaries.
Mm.
And that's really huge around because I'm someone who this is now vulnerable share. I mean, every video has been that
Do
way. Oh God.
it.
Because I'm someone who builds trust and connections with people very quickly,
Mhm.
I tend to give a lot of myself straight away. And so I then find myself disappointed later on if people don't feel the same. They're on a different trajectory to building trust
Yeah.
and they're a different style to me and they haven't reciprocated this much intensity on respect and trust and love and collaboration. I have now learned to set my boundaries around how full on I come across when
Mhm.
someone is different presenting in front of me and to
Yeah.
march to their beat rather than
Mhm.
going, oh, let's go. Let's have a spark. Let's be best friends 5 minutes into meeting you. I've learned not to do that. So that's a really big thing for me. And then I think at the end of the spectrum, in terms of like when it's really bad and you definitely don't like someone, of
Mhm.
course, please have those courageous conversations. We should do another video about critical or crucial conversations. Um, have a conversation if they're open to it. And I've definitely done that multiple times to
Yeah.
say we're not vibrating on the same wavelength and we don't have to be best friends. This is a workplace setting, but
Yeah.
let's think about, and I definitely have a story about this. Let's think about where what the rules are for when we engage, what my expectations are from you and what your expectations are from me. And let's have trigger words. Actually, that's something I learned from in neuroscience. Have
Mhm.
like a word that says I'm being triggered by you right now, or you're annoying me right now in the most respectful way. Have that word to kind of help you reset and reframe and go, oh, where there's some tension and disagreement. Let's slow down and unpack that and
Mhm.
let that be the thing that we stop collaborating with each other because of. I
Yeah.
definitely had that with a senior or head of engineering um, in an organization who had his LSI. I don't know if you've heard of lifestyle inventory. He had his
Mhm.
LSI proudly printed and stuck on his office back in the day when we had offices, pre-COVID, that
Yeah. I think.
that thing. He had that sort of stuck on his window or on his glass wall, and it was completely in the red, like aggressive, defensive. Um, so he was oppositional, competitive, and used power to lead.
Got
And
it.
he was being well done for being vulnerable and saying, this is my leadership style, not hiding it in the drawer and hoping no one would see it. But it was done in a way that it was, this is me, and
Mhm.
you need to kind of conform to my style. And, in I come back in that day, back in those days, as a, fresh, innocent people and culture leader, thinking I can change everyone. How cute.
It can be changed.
How
No.
cute. Um, and yeah, I mean, we had so much conflict, and we ended up we had a neuroscience facilitator come in for this particular leadership team and teach us how to have that sort of common, a phrase or a word or language that says,
Mhm.
hey, you're like, right now you're really like shitting me.
I like that.
Saying that professionally. Like, I don't
Pineapple.
even remember what the word was.
I bet it was pineapple.
I'm thinking, do you think it's because we're in a tiki bar that it's pineapples coming to
I don't
mind?
know, but I'm gonna coin that for us. Pineapple.
Strawberry. Anyway, it was
That's
really
great.
powerful because it kind of just made it not personal. It was
Yeah.
about the pineapple or the whatever.
Mhm.
And it was depersonalized in a weird way.
Yeah. Well, that's why I love, and to your point, LSI or HBDI or DISC, whatever you're using, psychometric wise, it can be something that's really good when people say this is helping me understand myself and I'm willing to adapt and stretch to other preferences. But when it's just like, I am what I am, conform and get with it, like that says a lot about that personality style in
Yeah.
itself. So yeah, it's good to have those tools for sure and take the personal aspects out of it because it can feel quite personal when someone comes out with a generalized statement. And that's the other thing I've learned is like someone's not always doing something, but we tend to generalize and create files on people that then hold us back from being able to communicate effectively to them. Like, oh, this person's always this way, or they always think that. And so being able to think about what are those voices in your head that you're telling yourself about that person? What's the file you keep? And how can you flip your thinking or challenge your thinking about that particular individual before going into the conversation? Because to your point earlier, like otherwise you're just going in with these preconceived notions of how they're going to behave and that you're actually going to drive the conversation to the worst possible outcome that you're fearing it will go into
Yeah.
unintentionally. So,
Yeah. Absolutely. You've already designed the narrative and the outcome in your head.
mm,
And what you're saying is keep an open mind. Do you
yeah,
go through those mental files and do a cleanup every now and then?
I
What's in
try
my
to.
file?
In your file, you're great. That's why we hang out
Okay,
so much.
tell me more.
Yeah, no, they're good. I think the ones I struggle with the most are when I've tried my go-to strategies, like find something redeeming about them as a human, and I can't find it. And there's
Mm.
been a couple, right, where you go,
Mm.
we're not gelling, our styles are different. I don't appreciate the way you go about work. I see
Mm.
what it does to other people. I have to clean up your mess because I happen to work in the people department. So like I see you making bad decisions and then I have to help you clean them up, which is just like, begrudgingly,
Yeah.
I'm helping you. And so there's a couple I can think of where I'm like, I haven't been able to move past those, but I don't see those as like judgment and set aside. I think I need to figure out those are specific types that I haven't cracked yet. And so
Mm.
always be learning. I got to figure those out for future. Because as my 8-year-old said to me the other night, we were talking about how she navigated a bully, and I was so proud.
My goodness.
And
Well
I,
done, Maddie.
and I know it was amazing. I forget the exact thing she said. Oh, I know what it was. This person was being really mean to the group, I guess. And Maddie said, why don't you try being nice once in a while? Was her quip to whatever was happening. And I'm like, that's so good. Because then the other person threatened to tell the teacher. And she's like, what, for asking you to be nice? Like Maddie completely spun it positively so she couldn't get in trouble for being a little sassy,
Yeah.
which I appreciated. But
It's-
it led to, have you ever dealt with a bully?
Yeah.
And my immediate response was no. And then Charlie, my partner, was like, "Oh, I've got one. Like, let me tell you." And he told her the story. And then I'm like, as I'm sitting there, I'm like, actually, I've never personally stood up to a bully, but at work, I've had to stand up to multiple. And so I told her a scenario, which, by the way, there's an article on it. I won't go into detail, but it was a former leader of mine who basically offered to pay the dollar per minute late fee for making me late to pick up my child from daycare. And this
Okay.
was just one of many examples where I'm like,
Okay.
it's not about the late fee. It's about her in 20 years going, I have abandonment issues because my mom was always the last one to pick me up and the teachers were upset, right? Like that, it's not about the late fee. But regardless, these are
Can't
like,
believe that.
I know. I'm still like, even saying
Okay.
it now, I'm like, what? How did
Wow.
this happen? But that
Yeah.
was just one of many examples. And like for me, that's a form of bullying. That's like
Yeah.
coercive control beyond like an
Yeah.
employment relationship. And so I shared that with her and she was like, whoa. And then like I shared another one with her where I actually like left the job because of the bully. And like I didn't see the
Yeah.
bully being held accountable. And so I was like, I need to leave to
Mm.
show the founder what a big deal this is so that they address the bully. And she's like, you left a job because of a bully? And I'm like, yeah, because I knew it would help other people. And like
Yeah.
sometimes you got to fall on your sword in that way. Like just comes with the territory. So, anyways, that was a diversion, but I like it
Yeah.
sparked because it's like, ooh, these kids, sometimes they teach us things or bring up things that we're like, oh yeah, I haven't dealt with that. And you're like, actually, I have. Good job.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Thanks for
Yeah.
sharing that. Well done to
Hmm.
her. Yeah. I'm sitting here thinking, have I dealt with a personal situation or a work situation in terms of, bullying?
Hmm.
And sad to say, I have a lot of examples because we
Yeah.
migrated when I was 15 and started school I was in year 10 in Australia. And yeah, I was exposed
Wow.
to a lot of like mockery, making fun of how I spoke back then, or not having friends, or being bullied by a group of boys because someone leaked that I had a crush on a boy, like those kinds of things.
Yeah.
I haven't had to think about them for a long time, but now I'm like, I better refresh my memory on what to do and what not to do because, I have growing kids who are growing up and who come to me and ask me what should I do in these situations. But to me, it goes back to that self-belief and your self-worth and you just kind of don't listen to anyone else is saying to you or about you.
Yeah.
Um, and in fact, last Friday I was saying to someone at dinner, we had them over, and I don't know what we were talking about, and I said, "Oh, what people say about you behind your back is none of your business." Kind of like, don't worry about
Kind
it.
of love that.
If you like drama free, baby, if you have something to say it to my face. And
Yeah. I love
um,
it.
but on the work front, I did have quick little story for you. I don't know if you actually, I've never told you this, Nick, but I worked in banking as a teller for about
I
5 minutes
do.
or
5 minutes.
banking all of 5 minutes, like a few months or a year or something.
Hmm.
But in my head, it's boiled down to like 2 minutes because that was the crucible moment or a crucial event that made me think I want to change careers and go into what was known at the time as human resources or people and culture. People are not resources, they're people. Um, and what happened was the branch manager
Hmm.
found out that I took a lunch break. I was in training and was rotating in different branches, and the branch manager found out I took a lunch break and forgot to lock my drawer. So instead of saying when I came back from lunch, hey, just a reminder, you really need to lock your drawer for safety reasons when you take a lunch break.
Yeah.
She actually slapped me on my hand. And sorry, we should put a trigger warning around these stories. Trigger
Yeah.
warning, if anyone's
Yeah.
thinking about past stories and feeling sad, please, seek help and
Mhm.
talk to us as well. So slapped me on the wrist, and I'm like 18, 19, I don't know, like straight out of high school. I'm not, it doesn't matter what age you are. You shouldn't be
So
physically
weird. Yeah.
touched or slapped or anything. Please, people, it is not okay.
Yeah.
Slapped me on the wrist in like a kind of half serious, half joking gesture and called me idiot. And I'm laughing, but it's not funny. I'm laughing
Yeah.
because like recalling that is like,
How
wow,
did it even happen?
yeah, how does this even happen? And I went home and I said, that's it. That's my calling. I need to go into people and culture to help leaders be good leaders, because the impact they have on someone's day,
Hmm.
long-term quality of life, happiness, mental health, they don't even realize that they have this type
Yeah.
of power over someone. And I need to help them do better and be better.
Yeah.
So in a way, life puts you in interesting situations that lead you to, different paths
Calling.
down the
Mhm.
track. So, the positive is I changed careers as a result.
Yeah.
But the negative is I have this silly story to share, which no one should have to. And
No. I'm sorry you went through that. And thank you
thanks.
for
Thank
sharing.
you.
And I had
Thank
no
you.
idea you were a teller. That's kind of awesome. But it makes me
No.
realize we have that in common because a lot of people will tell me that I talk to, like, you're not an HR person. Like they just make the assumption, you're not an HR person. Like you like
Yeah,
to
I
help
get that too.
people. I'm a tour
Yeah.
guide, right? Like, and
Yeah.
when I think about this, for those who don't know, I am actually a tour guide. I study tourism. And so part of me is like, I want to help people. I want to show them a path forward. And that's my purpose, is to help people find that path forward, because especially at work, for all the reasons you just mentioned,
Hmm.
you can have an okay experience. Let's face it, okay at best. You can have your good days, but like it's an okay experience, or it can be a really detrimental, terrible experience.
Hmm.
And I want to avoid that at all costs. And so if that's helping people navigate the bullies, navigate vibes and conflict and personality bits, that becomes the fun, rewarding stuff, because having gone through it, which we both have, being able to pull from those experiences and help others along the way, help our kids. They're not going to avoid it, but navigate it when it hits. Like all of that stuff is so rewarding. So I guess we chose the right career path is the sum of this episode.
Yeah, we did.
Amazing.
Are
All
we out
right.
here to make ourselves feel better? Yeah, we are.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
always.
so in back to conflict, I think it's speak for yourself, set your own boundaries,
Mhm.
and keep your power in check. You have that power internally. Don't give it away.
Yeah.
And speak to your people leader. Hopefully they are on the right side of history, right? And speak to people in culture if you need some more help.
Yeah. I think that's a great outcome. And next time, you already planted the
I
topic,
did.
but
I did. What did I say?
I don't remember.
Gosh.
Crucial conversations.
Crucial conversations.
Yeah. When do you need to
Although,
have them?
yes, yes, and how to
Ooh,
have them. Although
and
we should also do another one. You go first.
I was going to say, and we could
Yes.
talk about different conflict styles so people can self-diagnose what their go-to conflict style is,
Yeah.
so that they know, like, is this a moment where I'm like in a flight, fright, flight freeze,
Yes.
or do
Perfect.
I actually go into this and sacrifice some of my own beliefs to find some sort of middle ground? All the things. That'll be
Sounds
fun.
good.
All
Let's
right.
do it.
Well, until then, good to see you, Nick.
Thank you. You too.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.